The Tennessee Volunteers have taken care of business, as Bachman Turner Overdrive once said, in the Sweet 16 to reach just their second Elite Eight in their program history. They defeat no, not the Cardinals, but the Blue Jays of Creighton, some sort of a bird in the Sweet 16, 82-75. Greg Launard to my right, my man, Chase Green, ready to rock and roll. What are we about to do? Light the fire.
We're about to light the fires.
Fires have already been pre-lit,
Yes.
so to speak. As we
What does that say up there?
we're rocking and rolling.
Oh,
I mean, it says I think we are live.
yeah.
I believe.
I'm checking.
All right,
IT.
quick IT. But yeah, Tennessee. Killing it, and they were able to get themselves to the Elite Eight. It's the year of the cold ass white boy. Things are moving and grooving for the Vols. This was quite the ball game. They made you sweat a little bit in this game
Definitely.
because it was a game of runs. Tennessee at one point went on like an 18-0 run.
18-0 run, and we hit threes. Basically the only time we hit threes throughout the game, it felt like, because
they hit some early. They hit some early.
Yeah, they had the early threes from Triple J, and then his corner three was one of the most needed buckets of the entire year to extend that run. He's like, okay, we're starting to feel that back off a little bit. The momentum's kind of starting to tilt Creighton's way, and they came and they found a way. And our boy Triple J had to step up, and he sure did. So make it rain, big dog.
That's it. And why did he have to step up? Because Santiago Vescovi did not play in this game. Flu-like symptoms, like right before the game it came out. I remember you and I were sitting on this very Italian leather couch talking about the game, and you said to me, well, Santi's not playing in this game, and that could possibly be a problem, or maybe it could be beneficial.
Yeah.
How did you see that without Santiago Vescovi in this game, with how they played, Jordan Gaining getting some run? You had DeLeon getting some extended run in this game. Carr even came in. I believe he hit a three.
Yeah, he hit that corner three, which another one that was big time needed. As we talked about before, Santi, of course, he is still your all-time leading steals guy at the University of Tennessee. But for him, he's been giving you a 0 on offense. So playing Gainey, who hit 2 big threes, he's another guy that the percentages don't make you – they scare you away because it's only 26% on the year. But his shot looks so good that you're not that worried about it. Like, if he finds a little streak, he can hit a few, and he did. He did earlier. He kind of stepped up. So that was much needed. Meshack played great. I know he fouled out, but dang,
he didn't actually foul out. He fake fouled out twice.
Fake fouled out twice because they called it on a Waka twice. So him stepping up and playing tremendous defense, getting some. He's always great for like 2 or 3 loose ball rebound top plays, and he stepped up big, and he hit a couple shots last night. So
listen to his stat line here. It's not going to blow you away, but if you watch this game, you could feel the impact of Jabari Meshack. 4 points, fine.
Yeah.
4 fouls, physical. 2 blocks for a dude that's what, 6'4", 6'5", maybe.
Yep.
On a good day, 2 steals, 2 assists, 8 rebounds.
Dang, dog.
Fill it up, baby.
Fill up a stat sheet.
Fill it up. That's what you need in a role player, like in a guy who stepped in for Santiago Vescovi in this game, leaving his mark. You're not expecting Jemai Meshack to score, but I think what was so big here is, again, the defense. You talked about Santi being the all-time steals leader in Tennessee Volunteers history.
Yep.
Jemai Meshack can do that. Like, that's his game. He's not going to run you around like Santi usually does. And it's weird because Santi just hasn't really fit with this group. It just doesn't feel like he's found his footing with this group this year. And that's why when I heard he was out in this game, I think both of us had the same feeling of, yeah, it sucks. You'd like to have him out there because he's a veteran player and he's been there. He's done that before with this team. But it didn't feel like the biggest loss.
No. And not even in this matchup either, because you almost needed Meshack to go out there and guard. Both their guards are very quick, and with Ziegler not having, and Santi's going to have that effect, but Meshack's a little longer. Yeah. If you could get the offense you needed it from Connect, and you got it from Ziegler, you are going to be okay as far as the scoring aspect of tonight. You really, really need to guard those guys because as they showed early, when they get those down screens rolling and those guys like Shireman and what was the oh gosh, little guard's name, I'm just blanking now. Yeah, Ashwood. Like those guys can really Ashworth. Yeah, I knew
Some
it was
with a W.
Yeah, I knew it was some sort of
Sound like Charles Barkley.
Yeah.
What's that kid's name?
Yeah.
How do you pronounce his name?
Oh, that guy.
That guy over there.
So like it's one of those that you get those guys in clean space, they're going to knock them down. Shireman's one of the best players in the country. He's third team All-American. But I thought we did a really good job in the second half eliminating those. They would kind of run a pick and roll and then they would run a down screen off that, and those kind of freed up Shireman and got you loose. But they locked those up pretty quick in the second half, and that made all the difference. And that's what helped in the runs and just switching screens in the right time. Like it's tough. Like this is one of the best screen setting teams in the country, and let's be honest, when you watch them play, you're like they have to. They're not going to break you down off the dribble, which that's why I felt pretty good about Tennessee tonight. Was they didn't have a guy that's going to just be able to go out there and jibby jabby jump shot you to death.
What?
Jibby jabby jump shot.
Jibby jabby jump shot?
Yeah. So they didn't have any of that. There's no RJ Davis from the earlier on in the year. Not as of last night, sadly.
No, unfortunately not for you.
Yeah. Overall, though, what did you think? I mean, it was a little scary down the stretch, but did you feel pretty confident, or was the nerves starting to pick up?
Yeah, no, to be honest with you, and I know some Vol fans, they you could kind of feel the nervousness from them. And I'm going to ask you because obviously you're a longer term VFL than I am. But I never really felt super nervous about this game. It really was always Tennessee just felt in control. Like until that game got out, I don't think Creighton got closer than like 4 points in this game. I think it was like 68-64 they got, and they were never within a single possession. So I never really felt, and especially in that second half, like late in the game, I didn't feel super nervous about this team. They seemed like they were playing good defense. They were making it very difficult. Now, the one time where I was a little bit nervous with this team and where I thought to myself for a very moment when Creighton was making their run and how they made that run was it was a great call by Greg McDermott, the head coach of Creighton, to say, hey, look, the two best players on the floor here is Zakai Ziegler and Dalton Connect. Let's go to a triangle in two, and let's try to eliminate those guys. And the biggest shot to me of the game was when Dalton Connect pulled up from about 28, 27 feet and nailed it because a guy that was supposed to be right up on him after he got a screen was a little bit late coming around the screen, and he nailed the three.
Yeah.
That was like, it doesn't matter if you're in this triangle in two. I'm a first-team All-American, a Naismith Award finalist. Is it a Naismith Award?
Yeah.
Naismith Award finalist. I'm going to hit this three. And then I think the very next possession, he came back and hit another three.
Yep.
So to me, that's when everything sort of calmed down. And I was like, oh, I think Tennessee's got this. But for a second, I was thinking to myself, because in years past, it would have been like, if an opposing team made a change on defense to make it difficult for whatever Tennessee was doing, it seemed like they didn't have a go-to guy. And it was like, oh, shit, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
But that's the difference of this year's team and every other year's team under Rick Barnes is they've got a guy like Dalton Connect who can step up and make those big shots.
Yeah. Even on on that one specifically is perfect example. That confidence that he has of like, all right, let's dribble out real quick. Let me look at it. And just the slow pace, we can back this out and we can be comfortable on just making a dribble drive. Zakai can do that in a lot of situations, but not to that effect. Like he's looking to pass a lot of the time. So with Dalton, you're like, all right, let me dribble out, get some space. And then as he pulled up, you're like, that's cash, dude. That's cash.
Money.
It was a really fun game from Dalton to watch. Not the greatest shooting percentage in the world, but it was good. It was much needed. Every shot, he's a streaky guy. Like that's how he goes, is in these waves. And Triple J, Connect, Zakai, finish it down the stretch, making free throws and wanting the ball. Nobody was scared. I think that's a big part. We talked about that with Purdue earlier. I think just confidence and wanting the ball in these moments is massive for these teams. And you could see like at moments Creighton didn't want it like that. Like they're going to go take the shots, but it's not like
I think it was. I think that's a great point. But and you and I were talking about this as we were watching the game. As good as Kalkbrenner is, there were many a times in this game he was passive when he had an opportunity to score, rolling to the basket, wide open, decides to pass the ball, and two, a little bit soft. Like, and I thought Rick Barnes did a really good job of recognizing that, hey, as big as Jonas Adu is, he's a little bit soft inside. And Kalkbrenner was backing him down, eating his lunch, taking his lunch money, and scoring at will. And he made the change to go to Tobe Awaka down the stretch and keep Adu out of the game.
Yep.
And that changed everything, it seemed like. He
Yeah.
couldn't go down to the block and get those easy baskets because I don't care. Like you said during the game, what did you say about Tobe Awaka?
Strong boy. Hit him right in the chest.
You can't back him down, but you can shoot
No.
over him,
You
but
can
you're
go
not
to the
going to
top.
go. Yeah, you're going over the top, but you can't get in on him. You can't. He won't let you back him down.
Yeah, and it's another part too with Awaka is he's grown. Hit him in the chest. He's another one that causes you problems every single possession. Watch even on those free throws that we made. Kalkbrenner hits the floor because Awaka's trying to dive in and get an offensive rebound. Those things drive the passive, tall, lanky centers crazy. Like, this is a very good game in a weird way for Awaka because, you know, when you're going to go play Zach Edey, which they're about to face, it's a different version of 7-1, 7-2 than Kalkbrenner because Edey's a lot stronger and wants to be more aggressive. This is a good test for Awaka because he's like, hey, I need to keep doing this because he's going to have to be in the game.
Yep.
He and Adu fouled. I think they both fouled out in game one, if I remember correctly.
For the game against Purdue?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they both fouled out.
What were you talking about?
It was Purdue, Tennessee, I think Awaka and Adu. Yeah.
You had both of them did fall out.
Yep. Yeah. There were 30 fouls in that game for Tennessee.
Yep, 30 fouls in that game.
Crazy. So
only 21 for Purdue.
It looked like in both games that this officiating is going to be pretty loose. You can see it down the stretch from both teams. The verticality rule was definitely in effect
in that game, that first game against Purdue.
Both of them, actually. I thought they did a pretty good job in this Tennessee and Creighton game too. That if you're relatively close to vertical, they're going to let you play.
Yeah, and I like that. I like
Me
that
too.
in an official. Now, there's always going to be some questionable calls and whatnot, but for the most part, I did like that they let them play, and that played right into Tennessee's hands.
Yeah,
because they're a much more physical team. We were talking about it on the couch here during the game of it feels a little bit, and it's not just because they're the same color as Duke, but it felt a little like that Duke game from last year.
Yeah,
they kind of just really got physical, and I don't remember Shireman taking a shot down the stretch. Like, he just couldn't get open. They weren't giving him a shot. Like, I know he scored 25 points. He led all scores in this game, but it just didn't seem like he was taking a shot towards the end of the game. It was Ashworth. It was, other guys on this team, whether it was Alexander or whomever. Like, it wasn't Shireman. And to me, that was a little bit surprising. And I think a credit to Tennessee. And if the officials are going to let them play a little bit, Tennessee can be very physical. Now, their defense, not as great, I don't think, as it has been in years past. But even though they gave up 75 points in this game, still enough to win because, again, they have that offense. They have that offensive firepower. Connect goes for 24. You had Ziegler go for 18. And then, again, we've been talking a little bit about him, and we have to give him his flowers. I wasn't on the podcast when you guys were talking about it after the Texas game. So I got to give a little bit of props to Josiah Jordan-James, who in the game against Texas, what did he have? He had 9 points and 9 rebounds. Very solid. Love it. Again, with Santi out there, even though he only had 2 points, you don't need a ton of points out of Josiah Jordan-James. And he hit 1 3, which is great. And in this game, he took 6 shots. Very efficient, 4 for 6. Had 17. Hit 3 threes. Like, that's the type of game you need from Josiah Jordan-James. I don't need him taking 20 shots anymore. Again, you have Dalton Connect to do that.
Yep. You have Zieg.
You have Ziegler who takes 14 shots. Now, again, they weren't terribly efficient, but you just had a feeling that this team was not going to have as piss poor a performance shooting the basketball as they did against Texas.
No way. No way they were coming back out. I mean, it wasn't wonderful tonight. Let's be honest.
Well, they shot 42% from the field and really 46% from 3.
Yeah.
That's pretty damn good.
Yeah.
And on the other side, I mean, look, again, the defense was better. They were more physical, but they weren't fantastic. Creighton shot 45% from the field and 48% from downtown.
Yeah. So there's definitely positives coming out, but I think it's going to be key to be physical against the guards for Purdue. Again, you're going to have a different level of trouble when it comes to Edie compared to Kalkbrenner. But it is a nice, hey, we just faced another 7-footer. Like, there's things you can learn from this game. They got crushed in the pick and roll early.
They did.
And
that was a problem.
That is a big part too of Purdue really crushed them early in the pick and roll. So I thought that this might be a, hey, we can take from this game. Purdue's going to do the same thing with Edie. They're going to roll him to the backside. They're going to set that double screen. It's almost like a pick and roll. And as he's rolling, they're going to set a little back rub screen. So that's coming. So these backside guards are going to have some mismatches. So I don't know. That was, are we going to double? If they let it play with the physicality, I really do have Tennessee's going to be a lot better off if they let it play like they did tonight.
Man, I just love sitting here listening to you talk like technical basketball. It's so beautiful.
Thanks, man.
It's such a beautiful thing.
I love it.
Such a beautiful thing. Shout out to
that's my mom.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening, Mom.
Mama Green.
Yeah.
And Aunt Carol.
Yeah.
Watching. Shout out a couple of y'all who are listening. If you want to jump in on the comments, hit us up. Let us know your thoughts on this game and maybe the upcoming game against Purdue or whatever it may be. Would love to hear your thoughts on the game. Anything that we're talking about, whether you think what we're saying is totally wrong, or even if you happen to agree with us, jump in.
Yeah.
Join the conversation. We're here for you. It's literally 12:52 at night. And we're hanging with you because we want to be here after the game. I know you're excited as a Tennessee Volunteer fan. Another big piece to this game, Chase, especially without Santiago Vescovi in there, Tennessee's bench was much better than Creighton's bench. They outscored Creighton's bench 15-4 in this game. And a lot of that credit, a guy we haven't really talked much about, was Jordan Gainey.
Yeah, really stepped up tonight. Again, he's only shot 26%, I think, from the year.
Yeah.
So he hit 1 3, but it was a much needed 3. He hit that little mid range we talked about earlier, looked real smooth coming down the court. That's kind of his game. Made the mistake late. It got you a little nervous on the trip over, causing the out of bounds turnover. But with that aspect, Gainey does bring some speed. Thought he played all right on defense, but we're gonna need him again. I don't know how healthy Vescovi is gonna be going into next.
Yeah, he had flu-like symptoms. So are they gonna play on Easter?
They're gonna play on Easter.
Okay, so they're playing on Easter Sunday. I don't know how holy that is, but we'll be hanging out.
Yeah,
Uncle Chuck's and Sissy's.
Yeah,
just watching some basketball there. And another part of this was Tennessee and them not turning the basketball over that much.
Yeah,
had just 4 turnovers in this game, dog.
Turnovers. Keep it clean.
That's huge because we were talking about in different spots that they had. What do they had? 12 turnovers against Texas. I thought they had a lot against. They had a lot against St. Peter's.
I feel like they did against St. Pete, and then also in the SEC championship or SEC tournament. Yeah.
Against who did they face? Who did they lose to?
Who did we lose to? Good gosh, it's been so long. There's been so many games.
I know. They lost to Mississippi State.
We are in a heavy sleep deficit, back-to-back nights of past midnight, and both of us got to work tomorrow.
We sure do. You got cheer tomorrow.
We do have cheer tomorrow
at Bryan College, and I've got UTC softball. Shout out to the softball girls. 2 big wins against your alma mater, Big Dog. I'm sorry about that.
It's all right. We're not a softball school.
Yeah, ETSU struggling in that game, but I'm glad that we took care of business. But yeah, so in terms of the lack of turnovers, which was great, they took care of the basketball. There weren't barely any turnovers in that second half. And they outscored Creighton 10-0 off turnovers and 18-5 in transition. Shout out to Ryan Shumpert for these numbers, by the way.
Thanks, Shump. We love you.
We are going to have Shump on the show live with y'all on Monday.
Can't
Excited
wait.
about that.
Can't wait. First virtual guest.
Yes, virtual guest.
Yeah, we're figuring it all out. Shump is the man. Shout out to you, buddy. I know you had fantastic seats tonight.
He sure did.
Detroit basketball.
Detroit.
So yeah, they he was front row and center, and we kept it clean, which is a big plus for this team. And I also thought too, in transition, we haven't finished well in transition. I feel like there's a lot of extra hard layups that kind of go the backboard and then it kind of roll off the front rim, and you're like, hey, let's get a little touch.
Yeah.
I thought Dalton
Little
did.
finesse.
Dalton was really good, and now on that first little run that he had, finishing with the right, and you're having to avoid a 7'1" guy. I think that's a nice little confidence booster going again, which you're going to have to get out in transition. I think that's a good thing Gonzaga did early against Purdue, but kind of slows down. Z's going to have to be in a little track meet. Nimhard did that for Gonzaga against Purdue early, and that's what kept them in the game. I think that's one thing we have the better version of Nimhard on the motor aspect. So let's keep it burning because we got to wear Edie out.
You sure do. You sure do when it comes to that game coming up against Purdue. By the way, before we do talk about that game against Purdue, I just have to make a comment. This might be the most comfortable podcast or live show I've ever done.
It's great, isn't it? This couch.
We've got no socks on. We're in bare feet right now. Sweatpants, shorts, t-shirts on one of the most comfortable couches your butt will ever sit in. This is a fantastic setup we have going here.
Yeah, this is not bad.
I don't know why we haven't done this sooner.
I don't know. Honestly. Well, let's be honest. If we have the wife here, it's not the easiest thing to do. It doesn't look super clean in here right now. We have camera set up.
It's fine.
Can't see anything.
Nope.
Looks great right now.
It does look great right now.
Hope you're enjoying Colorado.
Yes.
We
have to be mighty quiet. Although there's so much going on in there, like she would never hear this anyway.
Yeah, we got 3 sound machines,
sound machines.
Yeah, it's fine. She'll figure it out.
She always does.
Anything else surprise you? We'll touch on Houston and Duke, I guess, too. And then who's that other game? NC State.
Oh man,
NC State. You're Cinderella.
That's my Cinderella, man. I went in with a couple of different Cinderellas. Nebraska and Drake, they bit me in the behind, but NC State and what's his name? DJ.
Both DJs. DJ Burns is your
DJ
big boy.
Burns. DJ Burns.
DJ Horn and DJ Burns.
Yeah, those are my guys. And then Diarra.
Yeah.
Diarra too. Been playing really well. Yeah, that was big. I really was surprised. Well, maybe not surprised, but it's been a fun run to see an 11 seed do what NC State has been able to do, getting to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, what is this? 8 games in 14 days or something like that? Something crazy.
But that's what momentum will do for you.
A magical momentum.
Magical momentum. Like they ran through the ACC tournament.
Mm-hmm.
They were able to win that to get themselves in, because if they didn't win that,
they wouldn't.
They probably wouldn't have. They definitely would not have made it.
I mean, they weren't even close. I mean, this is a air quotes down year for the ACC, and I don't know how they wouldn't even come close. Even if they would have lost like close in the championship, it just wouldn't have mattered. So that's another part of it, and it's all matchups. And when DJ Horn's shooting like that, and DJ Burns can not be like this huge liability on defense, and he has been so crafty right now. Like he is finishing everything. His position's been unbelievable. Like they are rolling, and that's a tough team to stop.
Not a great game for DJ Burns. He only played 27 minutes in that game against Marquette. And you mentioned it, the matchups in this game just really weren't in his favor. He only had 4 points. He did have 7 assists. That man could pass the basketball.
Yeah. Did you hear Golke's comment about that?
No.
He was so Jack Golke has been like doing
Goatke.
He's been in his NIL deals.
Oh my gosh, dude. Dude is blown up.
Stacks.
Well, I mean, he's literally changed his life.
Yeah, he is now basically a Barstool guy. And so they brought him in for the whole day, and he was like, honestly, man, this guy was like playing like a left-handed Jokic. We were not, I don't remember, this is paraphrasing, but he was like, we knew he was a good passer from film, but then he would see something, and you would see that after he did that drop off pass
Yeah.
or whatever, and you're like, oh, this is a different guy.
He was like a step ahead always.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it just throws you for a loop because you're
A
like,
leap.
a leap, yeah,
A leap loop.
yep, leap loop.
Leap loop.
And so Golke was like, I was very surprised at how good he was vision wise, and just like body positioning for a guy that's not the most fleet of foot. So he's causing problems.
Yeah, he seems like one of those guys. It's like it reminds me of CC Sabathia in a way. I know you're not a big baseball guy, but it reminds
I
me of
can
CC
understand a little bit,
Sabathia,
yeah.
where like you look at DJ Burns when he was in Tennessee, right?
Yeah.
Skinnier guy, more slender, but the bigger he's gotten, it seems like the better he's gotten. And I remember when CC was like at his peak, he was real fat.
Yeah.
And then he tried to slim down when he was at the Yankees, and he just wasn't as good.
You had to have a little juice behind it.
You do. Sometimes you need a little cushion for the pushing, baby.
Yeah.
You know, some guys just carry weight better than others. Like our friend Malcolm Harris. Like I don't know if he's going to be able to move at a 5.6 speed, but
Definitely not.
he certainly carries his weight pretty well.
He does carry his
Yeah.
weight pretty well.
Shout out to the boys though that aren't here. Joseph, GT.
Yeah,
GG.
speaking of, I'll probably actually put this at the front of the pod, but do want to apologize to the chat prep coaches. We had a wonderful, wonderful interview with them. We did get the ones out with the players. It looked great, but
Great.
the audio and video quality with one of the coaches just wasn't up to snuff. Internet stuff, it happens. So we're going to reshoot that because they were amazing. I mentioned in the pod with them. They're great ambassadors to this awesome city and state champs. We want to do the due diligence with those guys. So we're going to run that back. But the ones with the students was awesome. They were great. They had some wise words. They're learning their lessons. And these guys are young. Like nobody on this team, this state title winning team is over a junior right now.
Ball.
So go ball back to Chatt.
Dangerous team right there with Chatt
Yeah.
Prep. Yeah, it's they were a lot of fun. I unfortunately couldn't be out there, so I didn't get a chance to see them, meet them, but man, they seem like good kids. I watched that interview with Miggy that y'all did, and a lot of haters around the city.
They love the haters, man. They love the haters.
Who doesn't love the haters every once in a while?
Yes, they pitched it out, but yeah, they love each other, man. It's cool to watch. That's a bunch of bros being dudes playing some good ball.
Mm-hmm. Sure,
that's
is.
fun. That's fun to watch, man. They were a good crew. So we're gonna have that back, but
let's get into a little Tennessee Purdue preview.
Okay.
I want to let you talk about them because you've watched more Zach Edey in Purdue, and I know you went on your mega rant there on Zach Edey and how he's officiated. And just my 2 cents thrown in there right off the top, it's going to be imperative of how this game is officiated on Sunday.
That's the main key.
It's going to be imperative, and I'm really excited to see what Rick Barnes is going to do from a defensive standpoint. They'll start with Adu, obviously, and if that Zach Edey's eating his lunch, taking his lunch money, I wouldn't be surprised if they go to Awaka, but you cannot have those guys foul out.
No.
Can't have those guys foul out because if they foul out, Zach Edey's just going to absolutely destroy inside.
Yeah. Estrella, awesome. I love you, buddy, but no chance. I worry that it might tighten up a little bit. I think they're going to get a lot of the other side from like Showerman and those guys was probably a few miss that they're used to getting, like especially guys at their level. Kalkbrenner, a few of those jump hooks, sometimes those guys get calls. If you're a senior, been playing a while, you kind of just get your credit. You're a third team All-American, you're going to get a few calls. He didn't get any of those. Connect didn't get any of those either tonight. So this is kind of on both sides. So it might tighten up just a touch, but I thought they did a really good job in both games not letting the whistle get to them. But we'll see if the Creighton crowd gets to those officials or not. But if not,
Purdue crowd.
Well, no, I was saying the Creighton crowd from tonight will be the ones complaining.
Yes,
but the Purdue crowd, they're probably not loving it because they didn't get all their free throws they're used to. So we'll see how that goes. But I really, Lawyer and Edey are obviously your main 2 guys for Purdue, and they're crafty, and they're man, I'm trying to think of their power forward.
Kaufman.
Yeah, Kaufman crushed on the boards in the round of 32, and he did it again in earlier tonight. So it's one of those deals that you cannot let your focus solely go on the giant man. It's hard not to. Like I'm telling you, just towering effects, but they will crush you on the backside stuff too. They know what they're doing. They know how to play with Edie, and they understand the attention he gets. So you can't let that get to you. You have to win whatever you want to call it, one-on-one box out matches. You have to win them or at least negate him where somebody else comes to help you. Rebounding is going to be so massive for this Tennessee team. The block out, the old school, we're going to get down to the fundamentals of blocking out is going to mean so much in this game. Yeah. So team help on rebounding. Edie's going to be a problem. And another thing too is when you have such a dynamic force like Zach, sometimes you just got to let those points go. Remember we were talking about that earlier?
Yeah, you just don't commit a stupid foul. If he's beating you, don't go try to swat it. Don't try to make a hero play because you're going to end up hitting him on the head. You're going to end up hitting him on the arm, and it's going to be just a wasted foul. It's going to be an easy and one. And he doesn't shoot free throws that poorly.
No, he is
7 for 10 from the line tonight.
He's a very, very good free throw shooter for his size. Like, I mean, he's like when you look at it, I think he's only mid, low 70s overall, but you don't see 7-footers shoot 70%. So he is
not in college at least.
No. So you're going to see a guy that's going to be able to knock down free throws. It's a good looking stroke. It's not one of those janky free throws that just goes in. And you're like, but when it comes clutch time, he doesn't make them. He knocks them down. Man knocks him down, and he is a hard man to stop when he gets position, and he's going to get position. We're not going to shut him down. It's just not how that works. He's got too good of a sky hook. He can shoot a little fade away. He can do a lot of stuff. I just think we're going to have to push him off the block like Awaka did with Kalkbrenner tonight. Like, you push a guy off his spot, even a foot, even 6 inches, it just makes it feel different. We need to make it feel very uncomfortable for Edie.
How much do you double him? Extended guard, do you risk a 3-point shot and him kicking it out?
I'm on the train of...
He's not a huge passer.
No, he's not. They're a type of team that has like a lot of the hockey assists.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they crush you on rotational passes. The extra passes produce MO in a lot of ways on that.
That scares me a little bit, you saying that, because some of the rotations for Tennessee were a little bit slow tonight.
Yeah, I think
or last night.
I don't wholeheartedly remember that Maui game, but I do remember getting lost. And they're good at spacing. They will knock you down from 3. So
they only had 8 assists in that first win against Tennessee early in the season.
Okay. It was a lot of free throws, I feel like.
They had...
How many?
Are you ready for this?
Oh, gosh.
I can't even believe that I'm reading this number. 48 free throws. Tennessee did have 30.
Yeah.
Attempts.
Oh, yeah.
So many fouls.
Remember, it was 21 fouls.
Yeah. 30 fouls to 21 fouls.
Good gosh.
We cannot... If you have that type of game in the Elite 8, you're not going to win.
Nope.
Not going to win.
Nope.
Another guy that you hadn't mentioned, but I wanted to just give him a little shout out here that Tennessee's going to have to pay attention to. Braden Smith.
Oh, yeah.
He had a fantastic game Friday night. He was amazing, dude. Like, you look at his stat line, 14 points, 15 assists.
Yeah.
And 8 rebounds.
Yeah.
He was a sophomore. And we've been talking about it. It's the year of the cold-ass white boy. And he is a cold-ass white boy.
Yep.
He's had a really good sophomore season, 12.5 points per game. He does a little bit of everything. He scores, he can rebound, and he also can pass the basketball. Dude's 6 foot tall.
That's
it.
Good rebounder for his size, though.
Really good rebounder.
Those guys, Braden and
Zakai
and Fletcher, that's going to be a good one. I don't know where Zakai's going to go. If we have Meshack, then he might go to Fletcher.
So Fletcher's got a little bit more size.
Yeah,
he's 6'4", so I would put Meshack on him.
Yeah.
And then let Zakai try to disrupt Smith.
Yeah,
a bit.
Just like he did with tonight was fantastic, man. I'm so impressed by Z pretty much every game. Like on ball defense, that's probably the reason why he is in the defensive player of the year conversation right now. So, if he can do what he did tonight, and Meshack can also play defensively like he did tonight, we got a real shot.
We sure do.
We got a real shot, buddy.
What are you what are you feeling in terms of your confidence level before we get up out of here? Give me your confidence level right now. What percentage is it at with Tennessee and winning this game? I know there's a lot of determining factors, but just at face value on paper, how do you feel about your squad?
I'm not
VFL,
super
VFL,
confident.
VFL.
I think there's ways we can win, but the rotational stuff really worries me, and the foul trouble. If that game was played in tonight's atmosphere, I think Tennessee has a really good chance if they let some of the Zach Edey touch fouls go away. But I think it might switch over come Sunday. So I'm not super, super confident. I definitely know there's ways to win. I think it's another matchup that Dalton can win, kind of like he did tonight. Like there's no Mississippi State has a couple guards and wings that can really cause him problems. I don't feel like Purdue has that. They're a good team defense. They're going to cause you problems that way, but I don't feel like that gets to connect as much as that one super athletic, long wing that can just cause you problems by himself, fights over screens. They don't have that. They don't have that compared to what we've seen with Mississippi State and some other schools in South Carolina. Those are the teams that have caused him problems.
So this could be a nice Dalton Connect game.
It could be a nice Dalton Connect, and we're going to need it. Like you're going to have this is a player of the year game, no doubt about it. This is a who's going to this is your 1 and 2, and by far your 1 and 2, in my personal opinion. So this could win it, no matter what they say. It's not a regular season award, so we'll see.
Edey, 23 points, 10 rebounds in the first matchup, and Connect 16 points, 7 rebounds in the first matchup.
Yep, that was before he came along. The Carolina game later,
right.
a little bit later on, was the coming out party for Connect, and he's got to show it on Sunday.
It's the spot. We need a 40-piece McNugget.
Big time.
From him. And just quick, if you want to hear a little bit more on Chase's rant on the foul calls against or for or in favor of Zach Edey, head on over to our Instagram account at Chatted Up Sports. It's at Chatted Up Sports across the board. You can watch that. It's fantastic.
Thanks,
he really breaks it down. He does the research. He's got the numbers there. And take a listen to that. It's like a minute and a half or so. It's a really good rant. And you might learn a little something about Zach Edey. And again, something that's going to play big into this upcoming matchup on Sunday.
Yeah, it's mostly his officials. Again, I have a heavy respect for Zach Edey.
This is not just a man who's tall.
No.
Because that's why he's good.
He gets position. He gets a lot of stuff.
He's bad.
He's a bad man.
Bad man.
And but they do give him little kid gloves every once in a while.
Sometimes.
Real quick, since tomorrow, I mean, I know this might be a little past date if you listen to this later on, but
it's Saturday.
You got a good one rolling with the most dominant team I've ever watched with the UConn Huskies, buddy.
It is. I don't want to sit here and jinx it, but I appreciate you bringing it up and letting me talk a little bit about the Huskies. I mean, this is as deep a team that you'll ever see in college basketball. Like they were deep last year as well. And the broadcasters were talking about it during the game against who did they face? San Diego State.
Mm-hmm.
Like this team might actually be deeper than they were last year.
And they lost half their starters.
Yeah, they lost 3 guys who are playing in the NBA right now: Adama Sanogo, Jackson, and the other guy's name is escaping me at this point. But they've just got so much depth, so many guys who can hurt you in so many different ways. They've got bench players. They have the Big East 6th Man of the Year and Hassan Diarra. Like, there's a lot of really good talent on that team, and it's been exciting to watch. And you and I were talking about it. Like, what UConn's doing right now to the rest of the field in college basketball is not an exciting brand of basketball.
No.
It's not close games. Like, most of the games at one point or another were close. And even that UConn San Diego State game in the first half was pretty close because Ledee or Lede, however you say his name, that he had 15 points in the first half. They shut him absolutely down in the second half.
Yeah, that is a one-man show for San Diego State.
Yeah. And it's going to be a little different story against Illinois, potentially, or not. I mean, you probably know them a
No,
little bit more than I do. I don't know jack about Illinois. I have no clue. I know my extended family lives there, but that's about it.
okay, so with Illinois,
They
you have
call them the
Shannon.
Fighting Illini.
So with Lede, I guess it is Lede. With Lede, he can fill it up, but you're going against the best scorer right now in college basketball in Shannon. At guys averaging 31 a game in the postseason, cooking right now.
In the
And
kitchen.
they have Damask and they have some big guys. Like they're going to cause you guys a different problem. This is the first time I think the spread's been under 10 for you guys the whole postseason. So it's going to be interesting to watch how you guys guard him because he's a problem. He's
They get into you defensively. Like I
Yeah.
don't know if Illinois has faced a team that is this swarming defensively. Like I
Iowa
know
State was as close as close as you can get to
Yeah.
UConn's. That's another
I don't know.
part.
Tennessee's pretty physical.
Iowa State's defense is a little
Better.
bit better than that. Like
Even
it's
San Diego State is a good defensive team. I think like UConn ranks like 8th, and then San Diego State was 9th.
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I don't know about Iowa State, but
Yeah, Iowa
it's a good win
State.
against
Iowa State.
Cyclones.
Iowa State causes the most turnovers. Like it's, and again, it's like a pace thing too. Like that's another thing about UConn that's the most troubling is they can beat you 55-50, or they can beat you 95-90, or they can beat you 95-50. So it is an offense and a defense that can do a lot.
What does their size look like against a guy like Klingon? Because we've talked a lot again about Edie and the size that he has, and Klingon is not as skilled as Zach Edie in terms of a big man. I've seen Klingon not be able to back somebody down and finish in terms of the finesse that he does not have yet around the rim in certain respects. Like he's gotten much better. And I feel like you want to tell me that I'm wrong, but
No, I don't think you're wrong. I think it's different. They just use him in a different way. Like he's such a good screen and roll guy, and he clears out a lot of space. He's like Edie, Kalkbrenner. I would take those guys in college over him. Like Klingon's going to be able to go to the NBA, and if he can develop any sort of jump shot, like he's just a good role playing big guy. Like Edie and them aren't quick enough. Like at least Klingon can move. He covers ground so well. He's better defensively than both of those guys.
he just doesn't even look like he's into his body yet.
No,
He's only a sophomore, and he doesn't like he may be quick and be able to recover. And again, he's just sort of it's the tip of the iceberg with Klingon because he hasn't quite reached. I don't think his athletic potential. He hasn't fully grown into his body. He reminds me of a guy that's just like he grows so quick that he's not used to being this big and this, like it's sort of like an uncoordinatedness, but he's athletic enough to recover when he gets beat. He's got the long arms, the long legs, and yeah, when you put him in that screen and roll, and he can kind of roll to the basket, I just don't think he's a hey, let's throw it into Donovan Klingon and let's let him work and a little jump hook or a drop step or an up fake or whatever it may be. Like that's not his game, and it's very frustrating sometimes to watch him because he's so big and he can't do that, and he's going against guys that are smaller than him, and it's kind of like Kalkbrenner tonight against Awaka. Like that was a little frustrating. You must have been frustrated if you were a Blue Jays fan because it's like he's so much bigger than Awaka, yet he's not strong enough to back him down.
Yeah, he's got years to develop, but he's a force in a lot of ways, and he causes a lot of attention. Just on rolls, the way that Dan's got these guys working right now is incredible. There's a guy named Danger is who you're gonna have to be facing. He's a big, thick fella. He's only 6'9", 6'10". Coleman Hawkins, 6'10", but a little bit more slender. Like they've got
Jordan Hawkins was the other guy from UConn.
That's right.
Thank
Yeah.
you just jogged my memory there.
There you go.
Jackson, Adama Sanogo,
Hawkins, one of the coldest shooters in college basketball last year. Good gosh.
Getting run for the Pelicans right now.
Yeah. Danger. will be a strong guy. He can finish around the rim some. Like they're not their interior is less than compared to UConn's. But Damask, Coleman can in a lot of ways, but Shannon's going to be unbelievable. He's awesome in transition. They're doing all the right stuff. I thought Iowa State would cause him more problems than he did. Still gets 25, 26 piece. Um, Iowa State slows you down. It's a pretty boring brand of basketball. But the thing about UConn is they can do that style, but then they can also score at the same time. So that's going to be different for Illinois. Illinois is just super hot. So it'll be the funnest matchup UConn probably faces, I think, until the finals or something like that, where it would be Tennessee or Purdue.
I hope they can get past them. I surely hope they can get past them. And since unfortunately your North Carolina Tar Heels have bowed out, and it would have been a real tough 2 days for you if Tennessee would have lost this game.
Sure would, man. I don't know.
Duke winning because Shed goes down for Houston, and you feel for Houston. And just kind of a basketball play where Shed rolls his ankle right before halftime. He has to kind of walk it off and get helped off the court, and that really kind of stymied them. They didn't really have anybody else to go to. And
Yeah.
it's difficult, but that's why I don't think Houston was a team that could win the national championship and that's why I think UConn has such a good chance because it's just like, say, and I don't mean to put this out into the universe, like I'm going to knock on wood, we're not jinxing it, whatever, but just as a hypothetical, Tristan Newton goes down. You've got Stephon Castle, you've got Johnson, who's coming off the bench. They really like. You've been telling me a little bit about him.
Mhm.
You've got Hassan Diarra, who can score. Klingon's there. Samson Johnson coming off the bench is another big man. Like they have a lot of a caravan who can fill it up. You have
fill it up. Man.
what's the other guy's name? Cam Spencer.
Yep.
Yep. He can. I mean, he had like 12 points quickly in that game against San Diego State the other night. Like they've just got so much depth where if one guy goes down, it's not like the ship is sunk. Like
No.
it seemed like it was with Houston tonight.
Yeah. And it Shed again, one of the best players in the country has been.
He's a Naismith Award finalist.
Yep, he's one of the 4.
Yeah.
And with him, it's just such a porous offense. Personally, that's why I don't love that style. Like I think Virginia was an anomaly in a lot of ways. Like they were such a good team defensively that Cal got a national championship, the rebound year. That's kind of what Purdue's doing. You know, they lost to the 16 seed last year, and now they're trying to do the whole same thing Virginia did.
Hopefully they don't.
Hopefully they don't. No. Hopefully they make a really nice run to the Elite Eight and lose on Sunday.
That's it. And hopefully the Tennessee Volunteers get to their first Final Four.
Yeah.
Ever in team history.
You guys are on a real nice path. And there's a couple Bulldog. I really do think the winner of the Tennessee Purdue game will make the finals. I don't know if I trust Duke and NC State to make it to the finals. They're hot.
Wolverines are hot.
But yeah, UConn Huskies are a really good basketball team. This is the best run I've seen since that 09 Carolina team by far.
That last year was pretty good.
It wasn't as dominant as this year would be.
Are you sure? They didn't lose a single. I mean, they didn't. Every single margin of victory that they won last year by was double digits. Like it wasn't close anywhere. And like we were talking about it being like the first time, and the only time it's ever happened since that North Carolina team.
Yeah,
but like last year was super dominant. Now I know what you're saying of like they didn't kick somebody's ass like they kicked San Diego State last year.
Yeah, I was fixing, buddy. Yeah, you you had a rematch the finals.
That's right.
And this team was the first team to have a 30-point. It's the largest margin of victory since like the 50s.
Yeah.
In an Elite Eight or Sweet 16 game. So a little different because I think they just got better, which is weird losing 3 NBA guys. But Dan Hurley might be creating the best culture in basketball we've seen since like women's UConn.
Yeah, it could possibly be. And so if UConn goes on to beat Illinois, it'll be the winner of Clemson, Alabama that they'll face.
Oh, yeah.
Final Four.
Oh, yeah. I hate Alabama.
Same.
Dadgummit.
And shout out to, we haven't talked about this, but shout out to our boy, Shane Pan Poppy. Oh. I hate that you left UTC. I hate that you're out of Chattanooga, but thank you for the 2 years that you put in here, bringing that women's basketball team back to its prominent glory days, winning the SoCon, this year, winning 2 SoCon titles, going to back-to-back NCAA tournaments. I know it didn't work out the way that we all wanted to this year. It was a lopsided loss to NC State at NC State, but he did a fantastic job turning this program around, bringing in some kids that made an absolute difference to this program. Bringing in a girl like Jada Gwynn was an amazing find. They really needed her. That really kind of put them up another notch. And I hope whomever they hire comes in and can kind of just keep this gravy train rolling that he started. But I know for Mark Wharton, the AD, it's going to be a tough to replace a guy like Sean Poppy. And can we give him 3 claps one time just for getting an opportunity to go to Clemson? That's a big time basketball in the ACC.
Here we go.
Very proud of you. I hope that I've reached out to him. We've corresponded a little bit. I'm sure he's gotten so many texts over the last couple of days since he took the job. So I appreciate him getting back to me at the very least.
Yeah.
But we kind of left it as, hey, like, if you haven't really left yet, like, we'd love to have you like come in and hang out with us one more time or one time before you leave. But I mean, I saw the Instagram stuff yesterday or this past week, and he's already out in the football field hanging out with Dabo Sweeney and like
but
yucking it up, and he's becoming
we might get that Zoom later on in the year.
Well, he's gonna have to come back at some point. It's not like basketball season yet. Like, he might come back to like pack up the house. They surely haven't packed up the house and everything at this point, so like they might come back. And
I don't know, that Clemson money that might have that quick move.
Oh,
money,
I know.
2-minute truck might be like, hey, now.
Wishful thinking.
I appreciate the.
I'm hoping that we get an opportunity because I really have come to appreciate his friendship over the last 2 years that I've gotten an opportunity on ESPN Chattanooga to have him on the show. It's about time you got comfortable. I feel like you've been sitting like this the entire.
Well,
show.
we are pushing the boundaries for this cord, so that's why.
Oh, that's true. You you got to be a little careful there. I got a little bit more slack in mine than you do.
Yeah. There we at the short cords. We're making this we're making this setup work.
But I appreciate y'all hanging out with us. It's been a fun evening of basketball. This is if you're a college basketball fan or just a basketball fan in general, Chase, like this is the best time of the year, and it makes it even sweeter, no pun intended, or maybe pun intended, with Sweet 16, that both of our favorite teams have advanced to the Elite Eight. Now, I know GT, Baylor, bowed out a little earlier. I know you're in UNC Tar Heels bowed out in the Sweet 16. Very tough game for them, but
I do want to say this real quick. Speaking of GT, it's a really tough year. What kind of competition was that Big 12 playing? They don't have any teams left.
No,
2 SEC teams. So that's tough.
Everybody was dogging the SEC, shitting on the SEC, and we've got 2 teams in the Elite Eight.
Yeah, they had the same amount of teams in the Sweet 16 too. It's weird.
Yeah,
weird that works out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but shout out to my man Tyler Green. Just jumped in. Played college baseball with him. He's hanging out late with us up there in Saratoga, New York. Shout out to UTG. He wants to say he wants to have us talk a little bit about our Final Four predictions. He said, "Let's hear your Final Four predictions," unless I already missed them. No, I mean, we really haven't gotten into our Final Four predictions too much, but I mean, for me, I'd have to pull it back up again. I don't remember who I picked, but obviously we had UConn going that far, and I had Creighton getting past Tennessee. I couldn't be happier to be wrong about that. I had picked them, so I was glad about that prediction. And when it comes to the other side, let's see, like the west side of the bracket. Well, all right. Well, between Alabama and Clemson, I got UConn getting past Illinois. Alabama and Clemson, I completely got this whole side of the west side of the bracket wrong. I didn't have Alabama or Clemson. I'm sure not many people did.
Nope.
At this point, have either of those teams getting this far. But Alabama and Clemson kind of just feels like that NC State sort of team. Just like they've been just like riding a high right now.
ACC, baby.
The ACC.
Somehow, some way.
But I think Alabama's going to take care of business in this one. I think the cream will rise to the top. Clemson had a nice little run to the Elite Eight. It's been fun. It's been cute. I'm going to go with the SEC. I'm going to go with the better basketball conference overall. I'm going to go with Alabama, the Crimson Tide finding a way.
I think so too. They're filling it up. They actually played really good defense down the stretch against Carolina. Carolina shot themselves in the foot anyways. I don't really want to talk about it. That was awful.
That's why I didn't ask you about it.
Appreciate you, bud.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that they're just a little bit better right now. And like you said, Clemson's had a great run. And let's just go ahead and count them out again so they can beat them again and get to the Final Four.
Yeah.
That's just what I feel like they're doing. Like
Yep.
NC State at least has like the darling feel to them.
They do.
Clemson, literally everybody's been like, they had a good run in the Sweet 16. And then they win. Or they even like the 32, like, that was a good
So
win.
maybe they're gonna win again. I mean,
Yeah.
who knows?
Well, because I mean,
Who
it
knows?
was
It's March
they
Madness.
beat the public darling in New Mexico State. And
Yeah.
everybody's like, well, they had a good.
I actually picked Clemson in that matchup because
Good
you
call.
guys were ranting and raving about New Mexico and all like the
Yeah, we fell for it.
all the players that they
Fell for
had.
the
It was you picked the wrong 11 seed.
Sure did.
I was glad I got
There
that
was,
one.
I think every other 11 seed won except for the one I picked.
Yep.
This has been a tough year. I don't know ball. I'm coming back stronger.
You do know ball. Let's be honest. You do know ball. It's the NCAA tournament, March Madness. It's all a crapshoot. Like
it is.
It's so difficult to pick. Like it's so tough. So we're both on Alabama. The other side, Duke and NC State. Honestly, like you mentioned, NC State having that Cinderella feel. I'm gonna say that they upset Duke. Honestly, like I don't think their run ends here. I think they get to the Final Four. They will get to the Final Four. Duke got lucky to be here because if Shed doesn't go down, they do not. They do not win that game. They don't win that game, honestly. And NC State's got enough dogs on that team that they can make it difficult. I saw Duke kind of get punched in the face quickly, and it didn't seem like they had really an answer. Early for Houston. Houston just couldn't really pull away and bury them early. And Duke was able to hang around. Shed gets hurt, and then they find a way to come back. So NC State's got enough dogs. They've got the big man who can pass. We already talked about DJ Burns. And they've got some cold-ass white boys on their team as well who can fill it up from downtown. And your boy Horn is pretty darn good.
He's a stud right now. That's going to be a good matchup between him and Roach. I'm with you.
Yeah, well, that's because we both hate Duke.
But I can be objective.
I know, Tyler. I know you're a Duke guy, so I'm not apologizing to you, but I feel bad for you for being a Duke fan because Carolina is clearly the superior team, and UConn's better than both of them, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So right now it's it's tough time to be a Heels fan, but
you beat Duke twice this year, so like it's basically like you won the national championship.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. It does. It still feels real good, but it does not feel the same, especially like when you get the 1 seed. And I did think getting out of that bracket, I thought Carolina had the best draw.
Like even better than UConn.
Yeah, because I did think Illinois was good, and Iowa State can cause a lot of problems. Like Iowa State could have made that. Like that would have been the most boring game against UConn, and they could have. They call, like I said, they cause most turnovers. So it's like that one game that they throw some bad passes, and they're gonna like they could have beat you like 47-49.
Yeah,
like it's that kind of offense. It's tough to watch sometimes, but. And Illinois was so good, and I thought they had some really good teams throughout that. And I actually thought the 8-9 for UConn might have been tougher, and San Diego State getting a shot, or however you want to look at it. But Carolina has to beat Bama, who we thought was pretty soft, and they didn't look great in the SEC tournament. And then you're like, well, how good was that win they got at first? But they surprised us all, man. They played really great defense down the stretch, so. Thought they got the easiest draw, but now NC State goes on a run.
And honestly, if you're a Tar Heel fan, like I can imagine you'd rather lose to Duke twice during the regular season and get further in the NCAA tournament. Would you?
I don't know. That's a tough part.
I mean,
I will say, like this
the
year,
ultimate goal is to try to win a national championship.
It is, especially hanging those banners.
Yeah,
crushes them. But
there's no banners for beating Duke,
and it doesn't feel the same as it used to with Coach K on. I'll be 100% honest.
Like no, I mean, it doesn't. It doesn't mean it doesn't feel the same. I imagine.
No, it doesn't feel the same.
It's not the evil-ish empire.
Yeah, they're pretty nerdy still, but they're not. Yeah. That's not the same.
It's not Coach K. Coach K, Roy Williams. I mean, classic matchups.
Classics.
So
battle the cooler grandpas.
Yeah. And shout out to Mike Kelly really quick, checking in with us. Says go Vols, basketball, prayers, hands.
Shout out.
Win.
Yeah, thanks, that's gonna be a good one on Sunday too for the Vols Purdue. This Elite Eight's really nice right now.
Yeah,
you're gonna have some fun teams.
It's fun. I think you have a nice mix of like really top seeds, like a 1 versus a 2 in the Midwest. Then you've got the 1 versus the 3 in the East. And then you got like a fun 6-4 matchup. And then you got like a really random 11-4 matchup as well.
Yeah.
Like it's fun that Clemson and NC State have sort of crashed the party. And even these sort of higher seeds, if you will, or lower, it depends on how you want to look at it. Like they're still big name programs. It's not like an FAU
Yeah.
that comes out of nowhere, or like even a San Diego State. Like I know there's the Aztecs are sort of a big name, but like not like Clemson, not like NC State. Like these are prominent programs. And we talked about this. We had sort of this debate about early before the bracket came out of like, do you like to see these Cinderella stories? Like these don't feel like Cinderella stories. Like even though NC State is an 11 seed, it's like still a big name program that everybody sort of knows the name of. It's not like a Stephen F. Austin or like even a Chattanooga making a big run
Yeah.
or a Florida Gulf Coast or a George Mason or whatever. Like that's the type of Cinderella we're talking about, and it's just a really good story, even though it's an 11 seed with NC State.
Yeah. It definitely is. It's like the right kind of Cinderella, I think, for the public.
Yes.
Like the casuals are like,
yes,
oh,
yes.
11 seed, but like
Yes.
big school.
Yes. 100%.
Now I wished on Saturday we also got Clemson Bama football. Like if we had a football game and a basketball same day,
Spring game. Should we
yeah.
make that
Now I
happen?
would not
Spring
want to
game.
watch an Illini versus UConn football game. But I definitely would watch.
NC State Duke might not be bad.
Not bad. Battle of the
Tennessee
Nerds.
Purdue.
Tennessee Purdue,
Oh,
we'd
great.
smoke them.
Although last time we played Purdue, we lost in the Music City Bowl.
That's true.
Which I was at.
That's true. Yeah, that's what I'll say if we lose Purdue. Is like, well, we'll get you football. Yeah, that's always my favorite one.
I hope they would.
I hope they would. But yeah, really good matchups, fun all around. You're gonna have a good one, and I'm also so thankful that we have 2:20 on Sunday instead of.
Oh my gosh, 10 o'clock. It's 1:40 right now in the morning, and
we're gonna wrap this up.
Yeah, this honestly I think has gone much longer than either of us would have anticipated, but
we're a little drowsy.
I mean, that happens.
We're a little drowsy. We're a little sleep deprived.
We've got caffeine in the veins.
Yeah, well, late caffeine really is screwing this all up.
Well, I mean, the last time we did a late show like this, I didn't have my caffeine drink until it was like 10 o'clock or so. Like that was a real mistake. Like now I feel like I could literally, once we wrap this up, I'm gonna put a show on or a movie or something, and I feel like I'm just gonna go to sleep. I feel like I could go to sleep. We got a bit of a busy day on Saturday. So I'll say this. It's been awesome getting an opportunity to do this from our couch.
Yeah.
And it's fun that we can kind of take this show on the road, so to speak. And I think one thing that I really love about this show, and I've been thinking about it this week, and I wanted to just kind of throw this out there to you and to the audience that's listening live and or after the fact, that like I love the Word with G. I love doing it, love having my own show, but it is just so great not to have to do every single thing by myself.
It's great.
It is so nice. Like I felt bad that I wasn't able to be at Chat Prep the other night, but I knew like you guys would handle it. Like you guys did a great job. You put together some great content, and I don't feel the burden of responsibility to do every single thing with a product and with a show. And it's so nice to have like my best friends that I can rely on and just I mean, shit's gonna get done. And I know it's gonna get done. And I know we're all on the same page and we're all very vigilant about the stuff that we put out there. That's why we're not putting out that coach's interview, because it just sounded like dog crap.
Yeah.
And it's not our fault. It was an internet issue, a technical issue that happened. And in media, those things happen. But it's just been so nice to be able to have like people that I can rely upon to help. Like that's what I was hope. That's what I've wanted ever since I started working in media and having my own show, is to be able to rely on, whether it was even just like a producer,
just one
person that I could rely upon to help me create reels, do live shows, produce content, have a little back and forth with. This is like so awesome that we've, started this and done Chatted Up, because it's just personally for me, it's taken a lot of the burden off of things. And that's why I love doing this thing so much. And that's why I love that we're building this up here in this Chattanooga area for y'all.
Yep.
And beyond. Chattanooga and beyond. That should be like our slogan, Chattanooga and beyond.
Chattanooga and beyond. Well, we got the marketing brand coming stuff. So we'll get some fun stuff to make it look a little cooler. We're going to do some fun things. But yeah, even if it doesn't look, I mean, we're one camera set up in my living room. So it's great.
That's the
It's
that's
the
like the
magic.
magic of like what we can do with this show. Like we can literally take this on the road. We have the technology to do it literally from our house,
From a laptop.
from a laptop, just hanging out with y'all.
And these are borrowed mics. Like, these are $25 mics. It's cool. It's awesome. Love it. It's one of
Technology.
my favorite things that you can do, especially with podcasts. Like, break it down after a game. We don't have a ton of listeners and watchers right this moment because it's 1:40 in the morning. So, yeah, we love y'all. Appreciations.
With that being said, follow us all over social media at Chat It Up Sports, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube's, all that good stuff. Follow Chase at MC Green 423 all over social media. For me, it's at Greg Larnard. Nice and easy all over social media. And let's build this thing. Uh, Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Rate us 5 stars, nothing less. Make sure you tell a friend.
Yep. Share this wherever you can. We'd appreciate it. That's all it is. We just need you to share it.
Our
Spread it
numbers,
around.
baby.
Yeah.
Strength in numbers.
Talk about us.
In
If
community.
somebody asks you about a pod, just be like, oh, chat it up.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
Are you missing sports talk radio in Chattanooga? Because I know I am. We talk about it all the time. You're just driving around in your car and we have no more sports talk radio to listen to.
Yeah. If
really.
you don't want to like connect your phone, you're like, oh, there's no sports radio anymore.
Yeah. Like
That
I'm going
sucks.
for like a 5 to 10 minute drive. I just want to throw on ESPN Chattanooga or ESPN radio or whatever local or national show. It doesn't matter.
Anything.
If you don't have Sirius XM, like, why are you even listening to the radio if you want to listen to sports talk radio? Like, so check in with us. We're going to try to produce as much content as we can for you guys. Doing stuff like this, throwing special editions of the show on a Friday night into Saturday morning. Like, this is not a time in which we're supposed to do a show, but it's NCAA tournament time. The Tennessee Volunteers are in the Elite Eight for the second time in their history and going to the Final Four for the first time ever. Speak it into existence, manifest it. Let's make it happen. And imagine if you had the Tennessee Volunteers against the UConn Huskies
in the finals.
the finals.
We are 36 hours away from finding out.
That would be amazing because obviously I would root for Connecticut over Tennessee just because that's where my heart is and where I grew up. But I wouldn't be like incredibly disappointed if Tennessee won.
Yeah. You're not going to be mad.
No. And I know you would be really upset, more upset because like you're not any sort of a UConn fan. But yeah, I think there's part of you and Miggy and Garrett that would be like, okay, happy that your boy, at least your boys team won.
Exactly.
Like it would be like the way Baylor, if I knew Garrett when Baylor won,
if Tennessee loses to Duke, it's going to be a real tough. Not going to lie to you.
That's going to be bad. Garrett will be fine with it because he somehow likes Duke. Probably one of the worst qualities of him as a human being. But anyways, we continue to ramble. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Happy Easter.
Happy Easter as well. Enjoy it with your family and friends. Hopefully you get a chance to watch a little basketball as well. And hopefully you listen to this. So if you have, we appreciate you. Tell people about it. Let's have some fun. And Rocco has hung out with us. I know he's not pictured here, but he's hanging out. He's been hanging out in the entire pod. So enjoyed it. Chase, appreciate y'all. And,
thanks, buddy.
We will see you on Monday. Well, I don't know are we going to do a live show on Monday?
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
All right. Well,
we'll
we're
let you know.
We're going to do something on Monday. So stay tuned. Monday, either Monday Night Live or it'll come out on Tuesday morning. Peace and love.